Hello everyone, welcome back. So, in the previous videos, we have seen how to solve the questions using bisection method. So, now let's continue. The question is find the root of x cube minus 4x plus 9 equal to 0 using bisection method, correcting to 3 decimals. So, we know that the first step is we have to find two numbers a and b such that f of a into f of b will be less than 0. Okay, so we should keep substituting numbers in place of x, and we have to find any two numbers where f of a into f of b will be less than 0. So one of this should be negative and other one should be positive. Okay, so now let's see what is f of minus 3. So f of minus 3 is, this is just hit and trial of getting two numbers. I have already solved in my notebook. So f of minus 3 is minus 3 whole cube minus 4 into minus 3 plus 9. Okay, this gives us minus 6. Now let's see what is f of minus 2. F of minus 2 is minus 2 whole cube minus 4 into minus 2 plus 9. So this gives us 9, right? This is minus 8 and plus 8 gets cancelled and 9. So now do we see here f of minus 3 is negative and f of minus 2 is positive. 9 is positive. So we got two numbers where one is negative and one is positive, right? F of a and f of b will be less than 0, right? F of a minus 3 into f of minus 2 will be less than 0. So that means what? Root lies between minus 3 and minus 2. So this tells us that root lies between minus 3 and minus 2. So now we have to keep shrinking the intervals. Okay, so we have minus 3, minus 2. We'll divide it into half. We will see where the root can be between. We'll check if it will be in this half or this half. After checking it, and then we will find the root in that particular half. For example, if we know that the root is in this half, then we will keep shrinking these intervals. Okay, so now let's start. I'll just draw a table. First one would be I, and then next column would be our interval a comma b, and then we have xi, which is a plus b by 2. Then we have f of xi. So in the first step, our interval is minus 3 and minus 2. So minus 3, minus 2. Minus 3 was giving us less than 0. Minus 2 was giving us greater than 0, right? F of minus 3 was less than 0 and f of minus 2 was greater than 0. Now we will see what is xi. Xi is a plus b by 2. So it's minus 3 minus 2 divided by 2. It's minus 2.5. Now what is f of minus 2.5? It is 3.375, which is greater than 0. Okay, so now if we see here, we had minus 3, we had minus 2. This was giving us less than 0. F of minus 3 was less than 0. F of minus 2 was greater than 0. So the middle number is minus 2.5. What it is doing? It is giving us greater than 0. Okay, so we know that root lies between f of a and f of b, and f of a into f of b should be less than 0. So this is giving us less than 0, this is giving us greater than 0. So we'll neglect this interval and we'll consider this interval. Okay, because we are again getting something which is giving us greater than 0. So all these intervals also would give us greater than 0 only. So another trick which I told in the previous video was, if you have something which is giving us greater than 0, then take something which is giving you less than 0 from the previous interval. Okay, here minus whatever middle value we are getting, we should for sure take. So the middle value is giving us greater than 0. So from the previous interval, we will take something which is giving us less than 0. Okay, in the previous interval, what is giving us less than 0? Minus 3. So we'll put minus 3 as it is, and the other number is minus 2.5. Now the root lies between minus 3 and minus 2.5. Now what is xi? Xi is minus 3 plus minus 2.5 divided by 2. Okay, it's minus 3 plus minus 2.5 divided by 2, which gives us minus 2.75. Now what is f of minus 2.75? It's minus 0.797. This is again less than 0. So if we got something less than 0, we'll include this. Even if we get greater than 0 also, we'll include this. But since we got less than 0, from the previous interval, we will take something which gave us greater than 0. Previous interval, this is giving us less than 0. This was giving us greater than 0. So we will take something which is giving us greater than 0, right? Because minus 2.75, this gives us less than 0. So we will take minus 2.5 along with it. So this is less than 0 and this is greater than 0. So the interval root lies between these two numbers. Now xi is minus 2.75 plus minus 2.5 divided by 2, which is minus 2.625. Now f of minus 2.625 is 1.412. So this is greater than 0. Now tell me what we have to include from these two. This value will for sure include. Okay, the middle value will for sure include in the next interval. But since this is giving us greater than 0, from the previous interval what we will take? Something which was giving us less than 0. So the next interval would be minus 2.75. This was giving us less than 0, and minus 2.625. This is giving us greater than 0. So the next root would be between these two numbers. Now what will be our xi? Minus 2.75 plus minus 2.625 divided by 2, which is minus 2.688. Okay, so now we'll do what is f of minus 2.688. F of minus 2.688 is 0.338, which is greater than 0. Okay, so this value again is greater than 0. So we will take less than 0.1 from our previous interval, which is minus 2.75, and we are going to include this minus 2.688. Now what will be our xi? Minus 2.75 plus minus 2.688 divided by 2, which is minus 2.718. And f of minus 2.718 is minus 0.225, which is again less than 0. So we got something less than 0. So this was less than 0. This was greater than 0. And the middle value is also giving us less than 0. So we will include the middle value. But since this is giving us less than 0, from previous interval what we will take? Which was greater than 0. So minus 2.718 comma minus 2.688. Now xi is minus 2.704. F of minus 2.704 is equal to 0.054, which is again greater than 0. So if this is greater than 0, what we will be taking from the previous interval? We will be taking something which was less than 0, right? So this is less than 0. Minus 2.718 comma minus 2.704. We are seeing how much we have stringed our interval. Previously it was between minus 2 and minus 3. Now we came to know that our root is between minus 2.718 and minus 2.704. So we have stringed it a lot, right? Now what is xi? Minus 2.718 plus minus 2.704 divided by 2, which is minus 2.711. Now f of minus 2.711 is equal to minus 0.090. Now this is less than 0. So this was less than 0, this was greater than 0, and the middle value we should for sure include in the next interval. This is less than 0. So since this is less than 0, we'll take greater than 0 one from our previous interval. Okay. So minus 2.711 and greater than 0 from the previous interval is minus 2.704. Okay, now our root should lie between these two. Now what is xi? Minus 2.711 plus minus 2.704 divided by 2, which is minus 2.708. F of minus 2.708 is equal to minus 0.026, which is less than 0. So again, so this was less than 0, this was greater than 0, and this is what it is giving us, less than 0, right? So we will take greater than 0 one from our previous interval. Okay, so minus 2.708 less than 0 and minus 2.704. What will be our xi? Minus 2.708 plus minus 2.704 divided by 2, which is minus 2.706. Now f of minus 2.706 is equal to 0.009, which is greater than 0. So this was less than 0, this was giving us greater than 0, and this is again giving us greater than 0. So this value will for sure include in our next interval. So along with this, what we will be taking? Something which is giving us less than 0, right? So 10th one, what it is giving, what is the value which was giving us less than 0? Minus 2.708 comma minus 2.706. So now our root should lie between these two. What is xi? Minus 2.708 plus minus 2.706 divided by 2, which is minus 2.707. F of minus 2.707 is minus 0.008. It is less than 0. So if it is less than 0, this was less than 0, this was greater than 0. Now whatever we got is less than 0. So what we will be taking in the next interval? So minus 2.707, and since this was less than 0, we'll take something which is giving us greater than 0. So which is minus 2.706. Okay. Now xi is minus 2.707 plus minus 2.706 divided by 2. It's minus 2.707 again. We are seeing that the values are repeating. So that means we can say that this itself is our final answer, or root of x cube minus 4x plus 9 equal to 0 is minus 2.707. So we have corrected to 3 decimals. Okay, I hope this is clear. If this is clear,